Welcome to the Infinite Life, consciousness raising, spiritual transformation. I'm your host, Katish Haberfield. I know that this podcast will open your eyes to both the imaginable and the inexplicable. This podcast is not for beginners, but if you're on your spiritual awakening, or if you have experienced many spiritual awakenings, you'll find content here to delight and to inspire. We cover everything from past life regression through to hypnotherapy sessions, exploring consciousness in forms such as comets and in other dimensions. We speak to those in the afterlife, and also we rescue ghosts. We also speak to interesting and fascinating individuals, spiritual entrepreneurs, and authors and poets as well. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you supporting this indie podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts and share with a friend. Thank you so much. Bless your heart. Bless your soul. Namaste.
I find them to be our best friends. They're very much our best friends and very protective. And the comical and they can go really deep into the depths when a dragon comes in, because what I do with my spiritual team is they come in when it's appropriate. And when I know it, dragons are in, it's either ancestral, depending on how they're moving, or it's really deep healing, and it's done with so much love.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the Infinite Life podcast. I'm your host, Katish Haberfield, and it's my great privilege to have Mac Macgregor here with me this evening. Well, it's this evening Australian time. And Mac is an artist and a soul guide, and my consciousness was alerted to her through a great friend of mine, Cindy Lou Porter. And I had the thought to invite Mac to come on to tell me about her work in the Akashic Realms and a lot of the beings who she works with that I, for example, haven't worked with in my work. So I wanted to learn more about them. But first of all, Mac, how did you begin to become aware of your interest in the Akashic Realms and the various beings that we will talk about? Where did it start for you?
Somehow flames was always something that I was drawn to, and I didn't quite understand why. And I was following Melissa Amos, and she was speaking on Helen Pinknett's channel. Spoke about the Akashic Realm and the Akashic Records, and I thought, oh, that sounds really interesting. And I asked her if she was running a course, and she said no. But I found another person, Joanna Hunter, who was running an Akashic Records course, so I signed up for that, and that was my first course in the Akashic Records, which also Cindy did as well. And we both studied with Melissa Amos when she finally did her course. So we both done 2 courses in the Akashic Records, and I went on to do further work with Melissa. And the dragons. again with the flame, and it didn't click. You know, sometimes you do something and things don't click. I was just drawn to the dragons. I went, okay, it's dragon Reiki. So dragon Reiki. And the dragons are very flexible. I mean, they protect our waterways, our ley lines. They're very protective of humans. They work in the etheric field, the elementals. I nearly forgot what that word was. They work in the elemental field as well. There's, of course, Akashic dragons. And other dragons from other planets that come in when necessary. And sometimes when I see them, and again, I never even associated with the flame, but of course, very often they spout flame, and it's not flame as in it will destroy. It will destroy outmoded energies rather than be destructive physically, if that makes sense. So it is that feeling that, say, when you walk into a room and someone's had an argument and you can just feel the energy. Well, the dragons would come in and sweep all that away, so it made it more peaceful and relaxing. That's a kind of example of how they could work.
I didn't know they did that. Interesting. I've used the angels for that, but I didn't know I could call on the dragons for that.
Well, as I say, I used to call in different beings, but what happens when I'm working with someone is that, because I say to my team, they're called the Horde for obvious reasons, because of the horde of them. Some of them I've not met, they're kind of sticking in the background, waiting for the right person, you know, to come and help. And I go, oh, the seraphims are here, or I just know, or an angel comes in or whatever. But I never know what's going to happen. And I just allow that to come through for each person. So that's where I started the Dragon Reiki. And they came in automatically into the Akashic realm, particularly when I was working with the violet flame in the Akashic realm. And the Akashic realm, if you work there, any healing modality that you do tends to be much more magnified, working in that etheric field. And for people who actually don't know about the Akashic records, the Sanskrit word Akasha, translated, the nearest translation is air or ether. And records, because they hold all our thoughts, feelings, and actions, not just in this lifetime, but our past lifetimes. Now, that might be a big leap for some people. Suspend your belief. When I was doing a healing for someone who was a bit resistant, what the dragons did and the angels just surrounded her aura gently, just holding it with love. And during the session, there was a release, but she was very resistant. And so I worked with her higher self directly with the healing. But that's just one simple way that the dragons can come in. It's like having a beautiful imaginary friend who can help you feel strong, can help you feel love, can help you heal, can help you embrace life as you wish and when you need some more courage. I also work with angels, and with blue beings, which they call themselves the Morrisons. And exactly. And I really love that because it's just like a neighbor down the road, you know. And I said, well, I would just like one representative, Morrison.
Okay.
So
Good.
there's so it's that kind of humor and just kind of friendly, something you would know ordinarily down your life. Um, But I remember even the first time that I did a Reiki healing, a dragon Reiki healing with someone, and it was through my breath, and this was online, and the person on the other end felt the breath in person and was able to feel that energy going in and loving the parts of themselves that they doubted, that they felt unloved, cared for, just beautiful, gorgeous energies. Sometimes fairies come in. They don't normally come in generally for me, but they come in for other people where they feel it's more a kind of playful, being mischievous kind of energies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, they in the Akashic Realm, they come very often with or in the flame rooms, like with the violet flame, or they have their own temple. And they work with the chakras, but they also, you see, work with the chakra systems and they can do lots of healing through there and your aura. And as I say, also with your ancestral line. If there's anything deep within your ancestral line that has been coming up and is affecting your life now, that it can really, really help to release and infuse love and care. What I do is I work with someone will come with something they want to work on, and we shall chat. And then when we go into whatever healing modality, whether it be in the Akashic records or using other methods, they come in automatically. I don't have to call them because I
Mm-hmm.
have this open when I'm working with someone. I just say, come in when need, you know. So fairies will come in, but I have not really connected with fairies. However, a sort of relatively new one, maybe a couple of months, has been the unicorns. And I quite often have two of things. I have two healing dragons called Cassandra and Sisesco, and I have two unicorns as well. And when I can't remember if I was actually healing or someone was healing me, because this is a healing circle that I go to. And I kept seeing horses, white horses. And then after the session, I was saying, anything about horses? And she was going, no. And then I kept seeing them in the periphery, kept moving, kept seeing it in my periphery. And then they came. It was beautiful. It wasn't just one, it was two. And they came up and put their horns in my heart, and I just felt so much love. It was beautiful. It's like it's like when the angels give you a hug. It's just, it's like your mother 10 times over, showing you that love. It's gorgeous. And of course, the dragons can do that too. I suppose dragons and angels are the main ones. And of course, the Morrisons, which are
Morris.
very much the Morrison. I mean, you see, my team like to, tickle me.
That's good. I like it. Mine did too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the Morrisons come in, and they're mainly for healing. It's something I'm exploring is using light language.
Okay.
So I've been drawing light language or painting light language. I've been speaking, doing movements, etc. So I'm exploring that. and they would like me to do a modality using the Akashic field. So I'm exploring that. I'm in the research stages for that at the moment. Going back to the Akashic records, there's an Akashic flame, and for me it's white. And when I see a white color, a white flame, of course, white contains all colors. So, and when I connected to this violet, the Akashic flame, dragons of a multitude of colors started swirling round. So they came in at the same time as this Akashic flame when I was introduced to it. It was beautiful. And they were spiraling upwards. And so for me, my understanding of it is that they're confirming that I aiding in evolution and which is, for those who don't know, in the kind of spiritual realm, evolution is when we like I used to hate myself when I was at this stage of my life. And that came to being okay and maybe, and oh, yes, okay. But now I'm much, much more loving towards myself. And that is a kind of emotional progression. But you can energetically, we can evolve by if we've been in the room with someone who's had an argument, you can feel that energy. But when someone's say in a room and you're arguing against, really arguing or really in the dumps or really being critical, you can feel that heavy energy. And evolution is bringing your energy up, but not in a false way. It's being that energy. And you're not perfect by any means when you're evolving. It means that the scale in which you move tends to be narrower than the extremes of being absolutely ecstatic to absolutely miserable. Although you can get those, but they're much less. I don't know if that explains it very well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, by all means.
So I actually have two questions. The
Yeah.
first question that I have is the Morrisons. When
Yes.
you said when you said they are blue beings,
Yes.
do you mean like, because I'm trying to picture them, do you mean like a blue Vedic kind of a being, or do you mean like are they from are they like a galactic being
They're
or
galactic. Yeah.
okay, all right.
They're galactic.
Yeah, okay. Because I have experience taking people to meet connections who were blue beings. And then I've had more work to do recently with the Vedic lineage of blueness. So I was just wondering, yeah, where the Morrisons sat on that scale.
Galactic, although there may be some that's hiding that's Vedic, but I haven't explored that.
Yeah,
So that's an
okay.
interesting concept to explore.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And the second question was based on our pre-discussion. When I was a little girl, because of the soul work that I needed to do with understanding ghosts and all of my ghost rescue work, I spent a lot of time in my mind in the imaginary world, which was more seeing fairies and magical creatures that were more of the Enid Blyton style of things. Now, what I have discovered is through like our very brief conversation today and through other people who have commented, when I do meditations and I bring in who I call the fairies and the magical creatures, other people don't have the same perception of them. They're like, no, that's not an energy that I know. So if I talk about a fairy, for example, I know that there are mischievous ones, but I see them kind of like I don't know if you have girl guides and brownies in Scotland, but yes,
Yeah.
like that do-gooding service kind of a being. And I was just wondering your perception. I guess the same comes from my perception of dragons has been from a feeling that they are magical, which is totally different to the way that you perceive them. And given that that energy is quite strong and has been here right now, I was just wondering if you could bring through some sort of a thought or understanding from them about my perception being so different from other people's, because it feels like at the moment where I'm moving to and in trying to understand it and them makes it makes me feel like I'm connecting to some different sort of energy than other people are, and I'm trying to be authentic in conveying my perception of them, but it doesn't seem to match up to other people's perceptions. Yeah, so I was just wondering what kind of a sort of a feeling
That,
you get from them about that.
well, that doesn't surprise me because we all perceive things differently.
Mm,
We all perceive things from a different lens. So we're going to see things slightly different, and your description of a fairy might be totally different from mine, and a 5-year-old or a 90-year-old or anybody really.
mm.
Um, and I've forgotten your question.
I was just wondering because the dragons were here very strongly before,
Oh, you're
and
going to ask.
yeah, so it was more that you described them as best friends and protective and comical, and I was wondering because also when you said that one of your was it your dragons was Cassandra, or was it something?
Cassandra.
Yes.
Yes.
So before I was born, my mother had the name Cassandra as the name that they were going to give me. And then when I was born, she went, no, it's Katish. And I just thought that was too coincidental that the dragon that you work with is named Cassandra. And it was the number one
Yeah.
name that my mother was going to call me. So I was just
Wow.
like, I think there's something there that I need to explore with Mac. There's something there.
Okay. I don't think I've mentioned the names of the dragons before to you, though, have I?
No, only just now in this
Yeah,
conversation.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting that. Something from the dragons. We're here to help you heal. To go deep into your bones, to your cells, to your energy bodies, to your past lives, to give you insight, care, and protection, and guide you back to a knowing that you're becoming more of yourself. And although we are powerful, sometimes large, etheric beings, we're very gentle. Do you want to ask them anything else?
I mean, and that's part of the journey, isn't it, in life, is to say, what do I need to discover further? Because I have that kind of that inquiring mind that can sometimes seek to know so intensely that it's almost a bit too much. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And sometimes my team goes, stop, stop, like you don't have to do everything in this lifetime. And I'm like, but I'm interested.
Uh, Absolutely. I mean, I'm very curious and I like to delve into deeper things. But what I keep coming back to is it doesn't need to be complex. It can be so simple. Or you can still go deep.
Mm,
You can still get to the core of things. And generally, people are surprised when they
mm,
discover, that icky part of themselves, that thing that really hurt them, that they've maybe suppressed, and to bring it love.
mm,
And when you say things like bring it love, it just seems so simple, but it's so complex to get to that place where someone is going to acknowledge that it might be there,
mm,
to allow it to come in, and then to embrace it. And it's the embracing that really does the healing. And that
mm.
takes a bit of work. And that takes a lot of releasing. And that's where the Akashic records or the dragons come in and can really help with that. There's other healing modalities that we're talking about, beings. What other be? The seraphims sometimes come in and they're beautiful energy. And it's very much haven't a clue what they're singing, like language, but they're communicating on a level that's our bypasses our conscious minds,
Mm.
because we don't need to speak when we're conversing with anybody. Our body language does a lot. Our expression does a lot. So it's very, very similar. Yeah. Do you want to ask any other questions?
So if the seraphim come in a session, do your clients hear them sing or do you only hear them sing?
I hear them sing.
Yeah.
Sometimes my clients will hear them sing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I assume it's like a very specific, do you experience it in a very specific part of your, this is going to sound weird, but a very specific part of your ear?
No, I'm not consistent. That's why I
Okay.
can't tell you. I'm not
Okay.
consistent. I'm a human design reflector, and we're not consistent. And this
Okay.
goes with my work, etc. I find ways that are appropriate, and things come in just like the creative process. Things
Yeah.
come in when you're explaining, and it might not appear to be relevant, um, but it is.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. Um, so it's very difficult to pinpoint. I had lots of stories that I can tell you, and they've just gone.
They've gone, that's
Oh,
all right.
come on, come back. So I was thinking about what shall I say, and then just a beautiful blue dragon just turned up and kind of just nodded his head and put his wing around me and went, it's just simply being, but being held in love.
Yeah, I can feel that in my heart space. Yeah. I think that for me, because my journey has been very much so logical, linear, rational, strategy, processes, systems in my career prior to going into a spiritual career, I'm still doing well, I have to do this, followed by this, but do you know what I mean? And just to even sit in that space of there are beings and that all you need to do is that they just sit with you and you feel that energy. I'm like, Yeah, there's still that, like that delay where
Mm.
my brain goes, it's got to be harder than that.
No, it's not harder than that.
Yeah.
Simply, and I think that's what we tend to make things harder, but it doesn't have to be. And what's so amazing is that when you work with other people, it's their experience. They meet. Sometimes it's just me because I know they're helping me in the process, and that's the
Mm.
distinction of whether they're coming in for the person I'm working with. And they see, feel, sense, hear what is going on, and it's incredible what happens. And it sounds mad, and you think, oh goodness gracious, what they're talking about. It's something I think you need to experience, because from the logical left brain, it's just difficult to imagine. And a sort of image came up when I was saying that from the logical left-sided brain, is very much, when you're in love with someone, if you have a partner and you're truly in love and you are just loving on each other and you just embrace each other. There are other creatures, etheric creatures, that can do the same for you. Either you call them in or you have a relationship when they come in when you need them. And it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. And you're not doing things alone. You've got these creatures, these angels supporting you.
Mhm. And these creatures and these beings, in your experience, if somebody is going through a moment and they're by themselves, they can't get in to see somebody like you for help, how do they wish to be called upon? Is it just a thought? Is it like, how do they explain how they wish to be asked for help?
You can sort of, it's important to tune into yourself and ground and just make a conscious connection to source, God, anything. So you're making that connection. So you're calming your body down, and then you can invite a guardian angel or a being into your space. Because that's something that I do as well. I can introduce people to angels and dragons and any other being that they want, like with Cindy, with her tigers.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're not necessarily particularly related to me, it's for the client. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's just trusting, being open, excuse me, being open to, I mean, anytime we're watching a film on TV or a series, we are spending our logical minds, and
Mm.
we know that this isn't happening, but we're all in, you know, the process and the storyline. And it's not far from that to go
Mm.
into etheric beings.
Mm.
And like we're on the internet. We are not connected in any way physically, and yet we are on the internet. And so those kind of lines are kind
Mm.
of blurring, really blurring.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And I have one last question for you.
Okay.
you've spoken about the Akashic Realms, and my understanding is that, because I haven't been there, so to speak, that there is a whole separate realm of the Akashic, which is the galactic lifetimes, like a galactic records. Is that how you would describe it?
I, I would say that the Akashic field contains everything,
Mm.
and that so the galactic is actually part of, because it's part of the whole, and we just have access, and it's one way to access it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that explain?
Yep, no, that explains. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not somewhere that I have been. For example, when I did my sessions with Cindy, I have not been to that area specifically or intentionally, but I have taken my own clients through past life regression to lifetimes that I would describe that would fit within the galactic framework. So I was wondering whether your work goes into that area as well, or whether you mostly do the earthly connections that are from lifetimes on Earth.
No, I can go into, I've, no, I've visited a planet personally where, excuse me, what I saw on that planet and being, this is a past life of mine,
Mm-hmm.
where I was a disembodied eye, and there were just these eyes floating around, and they were coming and looking at me and things, and I think, like, so I've been on
Okay,
this
that's an
planet
interesting
with
one.
these eyes. And what's so interesting in, I study the gene keys with Richard Rudd as the founder, and my purpose sphere is 17, and that is on its highest evolution is omniscience, which is related to your forest. So I mean, I found out that much later than I visited the planet, where I was this disembodied eye looking up a disembodied eye. So the connection was just like, oh, and of course it's our third eye, and that's where we see and imagine. And as talking about imagination, it's like our imagination, nothing, my jumper, my cup, all start here
Hmm.
in the unseen realms. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have anything: houses, cars,
Mm.
computers, the internet.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Interesting. And is there anything that you would like to impart as a message or a thought for people to sort of wrap up this very quick dive into? It's a very shallow, very quick dive, but I wanted to. Sometimes you need to introduce concepts slowly and then let people get used to ideas and then do their own exploration and reach out to people. And so I just wanted to sort of scratch the very surface today. So, is there anything that you would like to leave with listeners today about anything in particular that we've discussed? A thought for them to mull over, or some advice, or
I would invite people to remember when they were children and when they played and when they imagined a mountain or a tank or a doll or a fairy or a dragon or any other creature in their imagination they were doing it and connecting to the etheric plane there.
Okay.
But we have forgotten, and
Mm,
we were being told very often, oh, it's just your imagination,
mm,
very often. But we all have that capability, and just some people have it more than others, just like
mm,
any other skill or talent.
mm.
And like any other skill and talent, if we practice, we can connect. And
Perfect.
another thing is about belief. Suspend your belief and explore. See what happens.
Beautiful.
Just just ask. Just ask that whoever comes in with love.
Yes. Definitely a very important point. Okay, Mac, and if people want to explore these concepts further with you, is there a particular social media that you're most active on, or do they go straight to your website? How do you best prefer to establish connection with people?
Actually, I prefer Facebook Messenger or
Messenger? Yep.
Instagram Messenger. Yeah,
Okay.
is a initial. So if you think you want to explore further or just curious, let's have a chat and see if I can help.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend ahead of you, and thank you for whetting our imagination and sending us back down the path of remembering what we used to find joy from as a child.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.